Last week in my blog, I talked about how I've started using Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's 3-question journal prompts in the morning and evening. And I've noticed some quiet and significant changes that have happened in my life. And I'm thinking that maybe a practice like this could be helpful to you too. So I want to share, so in the morning, I write the answers to these 3 questions. Number 1, what is the most important thing for me to do today? Number 2, what is one thing I am profoundly grateful for? And number 3, what quality do I want to show up, or no, what quality do I want to show the world today? So again, that's what's the most important thing for me to do today. Often that is something like love my family, or go slow, or listen. It's usually a way of being more than a task that I'm finding. What's one thing that I'm profoundly grateful for, and what quality do I want to show the world today? So to begin with, that 3rd question had a really big impact on me. What quality do I want to show the world? So one day that was, I wanted to show the world love and peace. Just the act of writing that down in the morning shaped my day. I would get testy with the boys and I would remember love and peace, or I would get really frustrated with myself and I would remember love and peace. And it helped me change the track in a really terrific way. And if things were getting really rushed and harried, trying to get out the door with the gloves, the hats, the snow pants, all accounted for, and my plans that morning to get a lot of work done, if they would get waylaid by, a kid wanting to get the crayons out for a craft or just something simple like that, I would remember love and peace. And it helped me. I mean, of course I had my moments, but just setting that intention and remembering it throughout the day helped me navigate. So I kept hearing Carole King in my head going, "You've got to get up every morning." Yeah, so I was surprised how writing just a couple of words down in the morning could make such a significant difference. And one day when I knew that, as Melissa says, I knew I was going to be very Crankelstein that day, and I had not had a lot of sleep, I wrote joy, and I even colored like a fireball around it because I knew I just needed joy to burn up the temptation to really sink into a puddle. And that really helped me too. So I ended up walking through a day that would have been normally very moody for me, and I came through it with, I would just say, mud on my boots. So that made a huge difference. Just the intention of joy made a difference in the environment of our home as well. So my personal environment affected the environment around me. Another day, my word was skill and confidence, and I found myself contributing in helpful ways. I was in a faculty meeting surrounded by senior colleagues who I really admire, and I was able to contribute effectively and concisely, and that was interesting. I noticed that just setting that intention brought up that quality in me. And one shift though, so that was the what quality do you want to show the world today? But one morning, answering the first question, what's the first question? What's the most important thing for me to do? That was very significant. So I had a really interrupted night of sleep. One night, one of our boys was awake at 5:15 and my eyelid was doing the twitchy thing when I'm underslept and overloaded. So I wrote down, what is the most important thing for me to do today? And I heard very clearly, go slow and show myself compassion. And for the what quality do I want to show question, I repeated that theme. I said compassion. So it transformed everything I did that day. And I accomplished more going slow that day than I normally do with my usual frenetic go-to of, cram this between unloading the dishwasher and finding a podcast to listen to while I take the recycling to the corner before the trucks get there because I forgot it the night before. I remembered last night. Maybe it's because I'm writing on my list. But yeah, I get frantic and frenetic, and I see this big ball of to-do mountain, and it just stresses me out. I'm not breaking it down or even giving myself time to make a plan and understand I'm limited. I got to the end of that day, the slow compassion day, and there were unchecked tasks at the end of the day, just like every day. But the important ones got done, and in a joyful way. So when the boys would kick off or start fighting and decide that a Lincoln log would make a terrific weapon, I was able to regulate a little better. I noticed my reactivity, and then I recognized that going down the reactive track was not compassionate toward me. So I would say, what would be a way that feels better? So I went slower, and I was able to intervene with a calmer voice. So I joked in my blog that Chill Daddy can negotiate a magnet tile hostage situation much more effectively than Krusty Pop. And then I thought Chill Daddy and Krusty Pop would be a good children's book or jazz blues fusion band. So you can have it. I don't think I'm going to create it. So Chill Daddy and Krusty Pop. And I noticed throughout the day all of these emotional surprise moments. I noticed when they popped up and they startled me, I remembered to slow down, which is a step of trust. When you slow down, you engage your trust. And I was able to flow some understanding my way. And I saw that the way I was doing things was more important than checking action item boxes on my list. And in fact, when I went slow and I allowed the compassion to flow, I started to see what the most important tasks of the day actually were. And I have this new practice where I ask my 87-year-old self for advice. And when I'm going slow, I'm usually flowing in actions that he would endorse. He's usually telling me, love your family, slow down, be grateful, hugging your kid is more important than answering that email, kissing your wife is more important than taking the garbage out right now. And he's right. So I offer that to you. It's a terrific exercise to ask your 87-year-old self what their advice for you would be. Or you can pick an age, 87. I think it's a nice prime number. I like it. So I still wrote down a list. Look, my list's already too long today. I still wrote down a list that was too long. And so I'm working on shortening my daily expectations, but I saw that my way of being was much more important than my record of doing. So today I invite you to join me in the Slow Down and Show Yourself Compassion Club. And I am the sergeant at arms of this club, so whatever officer you'd like to be, but the Slow Down and Show Yourself Compassion Club. So I predict you'll notice some things you're grateful for. You might feel an unfamiliar / maybe scary yet welcome sense of love and well-being toward yourself, and maybe even notice that you're working your daily goals with more presence and compassion grease. I noticed when I gave me some of that, some compassion grease, I'll trademark that, I was ready and eager to give it to the folks around me. And it really was one of those moments where I was like, oh, this is what people are talking about when they say you have to love yourself first. I was like, oh, I offered myself some compassion and whoa, or I let it in. I don't know how it works, but I opened myself to it. And I suppose it's like, you fill up a cup and it spills out. So it was really nice. I recommend it. And I wish and hope that you will let yourself slow down just a tick and flow some tenderness in your sweet direction today. It is a wonderful way of being, and the atmosphere will change inside and around you. And always remember, there is only one you. And folks need to hear the story only you can sing. So, like I sign off on my blogs, love much, and that means yourself too, that means myself too. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for spending this time with me.